Hi everyone, this is Amanda from Echo Consulting, and today I wanted to show a little bit of an update actually, or sort of jumping off of a video that we've made in the past about creating a CRAID log, which is what we use a lot in our project work as a way to track change requests and risks and issues and action items and decisions. So you may have heard of a RAID log. Here at Echo, we like to take that one step further and add the change requests to the CRAID log. That way, all of the aspects of a project are captured in one place, and it's really clear on what needs to be taken action on, what might be coming up as a potential issue in the future, a risk that might become an issue if it's not addressed, and really making sure that we're tracking all the changes and change requests that happen within a project. We as a team really like to use this in place of meeting notes because it captures the most essential information, but it's also just a fantastic way to manage your projects even outside of meetings. So this is actually based off of another video that we've had in the past about how you might use the CRAID log to plan an event. In this case, I've got here our Echo Summer Staff Party. It is early in the summer here in Vermont, and so this is a really relevant thing that we might be doing on our team. And so what I've got here is a really basic setup in Asana, which is a project management, task management, kind of work management program. I am going to be working with the paid subscription of Asana today. So this is the business level subscription. Asana has free options as well, but some of the features that we're going to be using today are just really handy and they come in with the paid subscription option. So what I've got here is a really simple list of items. Let's say that I just came out of a meeting with my team about what needs to be done to prep for this staff party. And so I've got a list of things here, but they all kind of range in that whole scheme of actions, risks, decisions, issues, changes. And so what I want to do is build a little bit of a structure here so that I can start to really use this as a CRAID log. So what I'm going to do is create some custom fields. That's the first way that I'll start to work with this data. So in Asana, there's a couple ways to add fields. I'm just going to go ahead and click this checkbox or this plus box, excuse me, that's at the top of these kind of task columns. So you can see here in Asana, there's already quite a few sort of pre-built field types. And I know right away that I'm going to need to use some of these. So I've already got assignee and due date. I am going to want priority in this project space, so I'll add that. And you can see here that when you add a custom field or you add a new field, what Asana will do is show up with options of how you might want to configure that field. So you can have a description here to make it really clear about what the different levels of priority mean. I'm going to add one more field option here. At Echo, we like to have a critical priority level in the event that something needs to be moved forward on right away. So I've got my different fields, and I'm actually going to go ahead and give those numbers as well. Just sometimes it's really easy to see where these lie in the priority scheme if there are numbers attached to them. So I'm going to create a priority field. And then I know I'm also going to want to, of course, have the CRAID type, the CRAID sort of item assigned. So I am going to create a new field. And actually, you can see I've already used this scheme in other Asana projects, but I'm going to go ahead and just make a new field just to show how that works. So again, this is a single select option. I'm just going to call this CRAID item. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go change request, risk, action. So CRAID is an acronym, which makes it really helpful to remember. Issue and decision. And let's go ahead and make those some different colors just so that, let's go ahead and make that green, just so we kind of know what we're working with here. Yeah, that works for me. Okay. When you make a custom field in Asana, just a quick note here, everybody. When you're doing this, you can choose to add this to your field library. So that's why when I looked at my choose from library, CRAID item was already in there because I have made a field like this before, but just for the sake of seeing this played out, I'm going to use this one and not add it to the library. When you add it to the library, it just means that you can access that field in different projects. So if I had another project that I was working on and I wanted to make a CRAID log for that project, I could just go ahead and choose from the library and all of this will be filled out, which makes it really handy in Asana if you are co-listing items between different projects because it'll conserve all of that data. So I'm going to create that field. And then I know I'm going to want to have a place to put comments. So let's go ahead. I'll do that again really quickly. I'm going to add a text and just leave it as is. We're just going to say comments. And so now I have a place to put in text comments if I want. And then I think I'm going to keep this as is for now. That looks about good for me in terms of the type of information I'm going to want to capture in this CRAID log. So the next thing I'm going to do is go right into priority. So I know that the guest list is pretty high. Oops. There we go. That's a pretty high priority. Unpredictable weather, we can't do a whole lot about that. So we'll make it a low priority, but something we want to be aware of. Grocery list, we definitely need to know that. We definitely need to know the date of the party. And actually everything else on here, lawn games, this all looks like it's more low priority. So I'm just kind of going through this quickly in Asana, but you can click and actually hit shift, and then you can click like the top of the section that you want to select, or click the top item and then hit shift and then click the bottom of that section. It'll select all those different items and you can edit them all at once. And then you just hit this X to deselect. So I've got these priorities set up, and now really the star of the show here is the CRAID item. So you can see that make a guest list, that's an action item. Make a menu plan, that's an action item. Unpredictable weather is a risk, right? So it's not an issue yet because we don't know if it's going to happen or not, but it is a risk that we want to be aware of. Making a grocery list, that's another task, it's an action. Choosing a date, that actually to me is more of, well, that could be probably an action or a decision. Let's go ahead and say that it's an action today, just because there's a thing that needs to be done there. Lawn games, whether or not we want to have them, that feels like a decision to me. There you go. You've got decide in this title. That's a decision. Rain date, also a decision. Conflicting playlists. So this is an interesting concept if you are working on a project where you've got a team environment, if there's collaboration, if you've got different stakeholders, you might have a situation where there's conflicting interests, right? So for this party, maybe different people on the team like different kinds of music for the party. And so this is maybe a risk or an issue. Let's just go ahead and make this an issue. We'll kind of escalate it to that level, saying that we've decided that people on our team like different music and have strong opinions about that music. So we're going to make that an issue, and then invite guests. That is an action. Okay, so now I know not only the information about all of these aspects of party planning, but I also know, what do I need to take action on? What do I need to be aware of? What's a problem that's coming up here? And then what do I need to maybe make some decisions about, or go to the team and see if we have a collective decision about this? Okay, and then I've got this space for comments. Oh, and I have actually, there's one more field I want to make, which is a status field, so that I know what has been completed. This one I will just choose from my library because I have a status option already, so you can see how you would choose a status. So let's say I'm making this in Asana and some of these things have already been kind of completed or marked closed. So for the sake of argument, let's say that we've already chosen a date. You can see when I click into this box, it shows me all of the options. So this is a single select field. I'm just going to say that's complete. This can go for not only actions too. Let's say we've decided what lawn games we want to have. I'm going to put, let's just say cornhole. I'm not sure if cornhole is one word or two, but I'm going to make it 2 words for the sake of this demo. So we've already decided what lawn games we're going to have. That's complete. We're going to put a comment there of what the decision was. Let's say decide AM or PM. We're going to say that's complete and say that we want the party to be at 2:30 p.m. choose a date. Let's say we want it to be August 4th. And then what else? What else? Oh, let's say that we've decided about a rain date, and that would be a week later, so August 11th. Okay, and then maybe conflicting playlists. We'll say country music versus pop, right? So maybe there's some conflicting interests here about what people want to listen to. And then we can put the other statuses of anywhere from the range of not started to blocked, backlogged, canceled. So we're going to say the guest list is in progress, menu plan is in progress. I'm going to click and drag this column to make this a little bit easier to read. Unpredictable weather. I'm going to say that we're blocked on this because we really can't do anything about this until we get closer to the actual date of the party itself. Make grocery list, we'll say that's in progress. Actually, let's say that's not started because if we're making the menu plan, then we probably haven't started the grocery list. Conflicting playlists, we're going to say blocked on that too, right? It's an issue. We can't really do anything about that yet in this demo. Maybe this is a conversation that's actively happening on your team, so it is in progress. And then we'll say invite guests, that is in progress as well. Okay, so now we've got our list of things that need to be done. We've got our issues and risks. We've got our decisions lined up, and we know the status of each of those things. So again, this is a really helpful way to track all of the pieces of a project, not just the tasks to be done, but also risks, issues, decisions, and change requests. So let's say, for example, I'm going to add a change request in here because we don't have one of these in this data set already. A change request might be party theme. Let's say we want to go from 70s theme to the 1920s. Okay, so someone in the team decided, you know what, we did 70s theme staff party last year. Let's do something different. Let's go to another decade. We're going to go back to the 20s. This would be the 1920s, of course. We'll say that's a medium priority because it does affect some of the planning, right? Some of maybe the decor, the aesthetic, however you want to imagine that happening for this party. This is a change request because it is saying we had a decision, but we now would like to change that decision. And the status of this, let's say this is in progress. Okay, so the last thing I want to show in this video is just a really helpful visualization technique that you can do within Asana, just sorting this by a couple of things. So if you're looking at all this data, to me, especially with the different colors, it's just a little bit visually overwhelming. And I really want to jump in here and say, okay, what decisions need to be made? What actions need to be taken? What decisions have been made? And I just want to see it really clearly. And so I really like to sort items by the actual CRAID item. So if you're in Asana, you just go up to the sort section or the sort little button here. And if you scroll down, it actually gives you options to sort by any field that you have already in the data set, as well as some fields or some sort options that you might not even think of. So you can sort alphabetically, you can sort by when things were completed, when they were modified. But today we're going to sort by CRAID items. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit CRAID. It's going to sort by ascending, and that is done, I believe, in the order that those single select items are created. So let me just show that really quickly. I'm going to click out of that box. If you ever want to change the way things are sorted, what you need to do is go into the field, hit edit field, and you can see that this is actually there is a little bit of an order here. Change request is first, risk is second, action is third, because I followed the CRAID acronym. So if I wanted to see decisions first, and then change requests, and then actions, and then risks and issues, you can see that's going to change the way that this sorts. And of course, if I change to descending, it goes the opposite way. Okay, so really helpful, again, way to visualize data differently. You could also sort by status, which is a nice way to know what is completed, what is sort of in the parking lot, it's blocked right now, and what has not been started and what is in progress. And then lastly, you could sort by priority. okay? And so then what I want to do is combine some of these sort options. So first I want to assign, or I want to sort by CRAID, and then I want to sort by status. Priority. Let's do it that way. And I want the priority to be, yeah, that works. So you can combine sort options just like many task and project management programs. You can say, okay, the first way that I want this data to be organized is by CRAID item, right? So decisions come first. I want to see all the decisions that need to be made or have been made. And then next change requests, actions, so on and so forth. But then within the decisions or within the actions, it's really clear here. I want to know what the highest priority is first. So I know that I can look at this group of actions and say, okay, the biggest priority right now is we need to choose a date. Oh, but that's been done. Great. That is moved on, or we can move on from that because it's complete. So the next thing I need to do, in progress, high priority, make guest list. So Asana has a lot of options here in terms of how you visualize and process the data. But again, using this program to make a CRAID log, really helpful way to keep track of everything you might need to keep track of in terms of your project health, your project status, and how you're moving through it. So I hope this is helpful. We've got a whole lot of videos on different ways to manage your projects, especially if you are on a team that manages multiple projects. So definitely check out our YouTube channel. That's Echo Consulting. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment on this video and hit subscribe to see more content like this.